So, take advantage of this mega sale in the equity, global and local equity market, right? And then, the next question is, ano bang bibili?
Yes. Yun na nga, nabasa mo na yung iniisip ko eh. Ano ba bibili?
Globally, you have to buy companies, the large caps of the world, that could survive the mild recession.
Okay. Klaro yan. Ayaw mo nung mamamatay kasi may recession.
Yes.
Gusto mo yung malalaki.
And recession is the shrinking of the pie.
The pie. Correct.
The gross domestic
Nabawasan
product.
yung output.
Mag-shrink yan. And therefore, may mga companies na tatamaan. Diba? Sa local naman, iba. Ang story natin is who will benefit from this ongoing reopening story.
Okay, who will benefit from the ongoing reopening story?
Kunwari, bakit kita pinapunta on a Sunday?
Kasi
walang traffic. Kung pinapunta ka dito ng Sabado,
ayaw. Mamamatay ako sa traffic.
magagalit ka na sa akin.
Tama. At madaling araw, umalis kami madilim pa.
Diba? So, when you look at it, whether you're looking through EDSA, or through the Skyway, or through C5, or even in Cebu, kasi nationwide tayo, global tayong show.
Tol.
Yung traffic.
Oo. Okay.
Diba? That means it's reflective of the reopening story.
Alright. Okay.
Okay, why? Kasi yung mga anak natin, yung mga bata, pumapasok na this last 3 months.
Balik na sa school.
Balik na.
Oo.
So traffic, yung Carmageddon natin, nauulit na which we haven't seen in the last 3 years. So, which companies will benefit or have been benefiting from the reopening story?
Kung galing ako dito, mga tol, okay. Babayaran ng tol, grabe yun. Wala kang choice di ba? Kailangan kang dumaan dun Sino yun?
So first, the banks.
Okay.
Because as interest rates rise, the banks are able to expand the net interest margins. We're able to reprice the loans at higher rate.
Oo, kasi binabayad nyo sa deposit namin, mababa pa din.
Yes. So that spread lang.
Laki ng spread.
Intuitively. Yung spread na yun, in a growing economy, in a reopening economy, banks will benefit.
Buy banking stocks.
Banking stocks. Pumili ka na dyan.
Yung pinakamalaki.
Yung pinakamalaking bangko.
Takot tayo dun sa maliliit din.
No, I mean, of course, the big three will always be there.
Yes.
BDO, BPI, Metrobank. Take your pick. No? And then other banks. But
doon na tayo sa may gwapo na investment manager.
Okay, so banks, main winners yan.
Yes.
And you saw this year, with BDO and BPI leading the way. BDO, we declared 40 billion for the first nine months. So, if you look at it, we earn usually 8 to 10 billion every quarter. We're on our way to hit 48 to 50 billion by year end. And that will be our all-time high.
Wow.
That's higher than our 2019 high.
That's also because of your fees and yung earnings.
It's just the concept. No? You have to really analyze who are the winners. Okay, so same with BPI. They're having a fantastic year, no? And they're talking about their digitalization, blah, blah, blah. But it's really the environment. This is banks.
And it will continue.
It will continue in 2023. Simply because we're still facing higher interest rates, at least until the first half of 2023. No? And then, usually, there will be a pause for 3 to 6 months before a reversal of cutting interest rates will happen.
So, towards the end of the year na yun.
So, for interest rates to be cut, if ever they will be cut, no? It will be 4Q of 23, if not first half of 24.
So you still have, guys, pause muna tapos bili na ng stock.
Yeah. And you're seeing it this year. No? Who are the gainers? Who are the best performing stocks? Aside from Semirara, which is coal, are the banks.
The banks. Yeah.
So that's still there in 2020.
Always, in any cycle, pag-recovery story, una yung mga banko.
So, that's the main theme. The Philippines is undergoing a reopening story. We are not headed for recession. We will continue to grow. And as I told you before the elections, at the end of the year, we will find out that the Philippines is still one of the fastest growing in the Asia Pacific region. And that's happening now.
Unlike our ates and kuyas overseas na medyo shrinking tayo.
So, whether you look at Asia Pacific or ASEAN, the growth rate is somewhere between 3.5 to 4.5, and the Philippines could post 7.4 full year. Ang layo.
Ang layo nga.
So, that means we are not going to recession. So, next year, it will go down a bit. GDP will go down a bit to about 5.7. But again, at the end of the year, it will still be one of the more resilient economies in a global environment that's moving towards recession or shrinking.
Shrinking, oo. Curious ako kung ano yung nakikita mo sa inflation also.
Okay. Inflation is also headed downward. No? We're headed for 5.8 full year this year. And that should drop to about 4.6 next year.
Pero end year might go up pa from 8%.
We are already close to the peak. No? But clearly, when you try to look at first quarter of 2023, it will still be above 7.
And
So,
then after
padahan-dahan. The bulk of the drop will be in the second half of 2023. As I mentioned, because high base tayo this year.
yeah.
So on a year-on-year comparison, similar when we make our budgets, it's always on a year-on-year. On a year-on-year, the high base effect of the second half of 2022 will bring it down in the second half of 2023.
How long before tayo bumalik doon sa 3 to 4?
We're looking at 2024, 2025 to bring it back to those 2 to 4% range. To that 2 to 4, it will take a while.
Okay, so aside from time deposit, bonds, stocks, and
Okay, so stocks. No? So the winners
banking
are
stock.
banking, number one. No? Number two would be, you're seeing already activity. So the port operators, like
okay.
ICTSI.
Oo nga.
No? And then construction is booming. That's why your unemployment rate has gone down to 5. That means the construction workers are back.
Oo.
So,
Hindi na nga nagmamask eh.
right? So, we believe that Wilcon is still a buy. No? They have everything that you need. They have a good system. They're continuing to mobilize their IPO proceeds pa to expand the number of branches nationwide. And they're a winner in again reopening and
Parang na-excite ako habang nagkukwento ka. Parang yes, recovery na may mga naglilista na dyan ng mga stock na bibilhin niya.
And when we were talking like this in the third quarter, walang maniwala sa amin. Wala talaga. Even when I was telling them at the time, our growth projection was 6.6. I was being questioned.
Talaga?
Yeah, even internally.
Medyo fearful.
Paano naman mangyayari yan? But sa amin kasi it's always, what are the growth catalysts? Whether it's the economy or the company, what are the growth catalysts? No? And are you continuing to expand by using your capex? And the headwinds really are external. No? It's external.
Russia.
Diba?
US.
Russian invasion of Ukraine. And it was transmitted to the Philippines through higher energy and food costs. And then later on, transport. But let's always focus on the growth catalysts. Diba? And who can win over these headwinds.
Yeah.
Diba?
Pero alam mo, pag sinasabi mong growth catalyst, pampatang ka dyan.
Yun, kaya nga, diba? Pareho naman tayong perspective.
Gusto ko naman tumangkad. Sana yun na lang. Wait lang. So, aside, kung dito mag-i-invest mga, how much return are we looking at?
Okay. Because nga nagka-mega sale sa equities and dumapa ng 40%. Let's say
Upside.
local equities muna. Upside. So, while the whole stock market is still down 8.7% as we speak, there are several companies that are already up 25% in the fourth quarter from the September 30 low. That means yung September 30 drop
Kumita na sila.
because of the Jackson Hole pronouncement of Fed Chairman Powell that more interest rates are coming. Natakot yung market, bumagsak pa lalo. Yan na yung low. That was 5,700 for the Philippine Stock Exchange Index. That was 3,500 for the S&P 500.
You always hear people saying, baka mag-5-3 pa.
Baka.
Oo, ganun.
But yan nga investing is always about greed when it's going up
Fear and greed.
fear. pag bumababa. Pag bumababa, everybody turns bearish, pababa yung target. But, di ba you have to master the courage, no? To invest when there's panic, when there's fear.
Ilang cycle na kasi ng fear and greed ang pinagdaanan mo eh. Kaya parang ikaw chill ka lang, I've seen this before.
Yes. So, usually, di ba, pag may sunog, takbuhan palabas.
Siguradong may suot ka dapat.
Yes. Diba? So, bihira yung tatakbo papasok sa sunog.
Oo nga, tama.
No? So, it's a very counterintuitive, unnatural action. And so, you have to have muscle memory to take that
And a little bit of craziness.
Yes. So, think, manageable bets.
How about retail, ano pa ba? So, property,
Yeah.
property,
Isa pa.
retail, ano pa?
Consumer.
Consumer pala.
So, pabalik na yung mga estudyante,
Bibili na ulit ng Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill. So, you are C.
Ngayon pa nga,
Diba?
para napaisip ako ng cheapy.
And when you look at the stock price of yours, it really plummeted.
Oo nga eh.
But again, if you look at the last 3 months, it has rebounded nicely.
Yeah.
It's in
Pansin ko din yan.
It's in the top 5, I think.
Bumibili na ulit talaga yung mga tao.
Yes.
Pero grabe nung COVID, tsaka talagang hindi siya gumalaw,
Of course.
no?
Of course.
How about like DNL, sabi nila one of their best years, although na-move pa yung
Yes.
kanilang planta. Is
Yeah.
that
So,
still a good
DNL, although an illiquid stock,
Yeah.
the opening of their new plant, while delayed, will increase capacity for the company. And since it's an APESA zone, it's for exports. So that's where they get wider margins. So yeah, it has also rebounded from a low of, I think, 625 to closer 776, I think, or 780. But yeah, that's again another beneficiary of a reopening economy, simply because they create products that are suited for the different companies.
Oo nga. Tsaka parang hindi branded, di ba? Parang
Yes.
you supply so many restaurants, ganyan.
Yeah. Aerosol, restaurants, and they do R&D for their clients. So,
They do?
yeah. So, yeah. So, and again, the management is savvy, transparent, very knowledgeable on the global and local trends. So, for you to invest in a modern plant that can expand your capacity takes courage.
During the crisis.
They borrowed
Oo.
at 2 to 3%.
Yeah.
And those debts are maturing in the next 5 years, next 3 to 5 years. When interest rates right now are at 7 to 8.
Grabe, no? The confidence of the banks must be very high.
Yes. So,
This family.
So while it's an illiquid stock, again, if you look at the products that they offer and the R&D that they do for their clients, it's worth putting money in.
Is it a value play or a growth play?
It's a growth.
It's a growth play. Question, property.
Yeah.
So, sabi ni Lee Chu, nag-akyata na daw yung presyo, 250%. And then, amortization yung mga loan rates, umakyat din.
Yes.
But Filipinos are buying.
Yes. The property sector is quite segmented. No? And we believe that the mall space is recovering ahead of high-rise resi or office space. Because of the hybrid model in the workplace of on-site and work from home, which could still go on for a while. There's a certain glut in the office space.
Office space pa rin.
Amidst the completion of the new buildings,
Tsaka the pogos.
right? And the exit of the POGOs or the reduction of the POGO tenants.
Hindi pa nag-exit totally.
Not totally, but it's been a reduction,
Yeah.
a significant reduction. So there's excess supply, no? So why will you expand your office space if hindi naman 100% pumapasok?
Yeah. Oo, nagsuzoom pa rin yung mga
Diba?
tao.
There are still a lot of companies that are doing 2 to 3 days work from home and doing it shifting or team A, team B. So the headwinds is there on the office space and the high-rise resi. But for the mall revenues, you know, again, intuitively, go to any mall,
Ang dami na tao.
dami na.
Oo.
Since the fourth quarter of last year pa na. So most of this year, you saw
Mhm.
people going to the malls. The malls have reformatted,
Mm-mm.
more experiential, more
Yeah.
restaurants,
Ang hirap kaya bumili ng makeup online.
di ba?
Paano mo igaganon dito?
Oh, di ba?
Bagay pa sa skin ko.
Ganun.
Nahihirap eh.
Yeah,
But
there-
still wanna go to the
Yeah.
mall talaga.
So, we're seeing the mall revenues recover ahead
Mm.
of office or high-rise and city.
Yung residential na middle income, and then yung mga binibenta nila sa OFW, totoo yun, they're still buying.
Yes. The fact that yung mga retirement villages are selling briskly is an indication or a reflection of your OFWs investing to retire here. Number one. Number two, because of COVID, a lot of our AB market still are scared to fly or to travel.
Oo.
So, nauso yung summer homes. O, diba?
Summer home, second home.
Mga beach
Halfway
front,
home, iba
mga
na.
beach front, mga
Oo.
halfway home.
Oo.
Nauso yan. Yung
Yaman
bakasyon,
ang mga Pilipino.
I think, yes, I think
Yes.
there's still wealth.
Oo.
The fact that our asset management business continues to grow.
How pala it grew in 2022? Ilang percent?
Ito ha, when I came into BDO 8 years ago,
8 years lang ba yun?
diba?
Para di ko
Kala mo,
ma-imagine, 8 years
8 years
lang
ago
ba?
na, that was 2014.
Ah.
We were at 600 billion.
Mm.
When Marvin left, 600
okay.
billion yon.
Iniwan sa'yo ni Marvin, eto na,
Ito
600 billion, bahala ka na dyan.
Diba? And now we're at 1.2 trillion.
Wow.
So, in the last 8 years, we doubled AUM.
Yeah.
Which I thought at the time, at 600 billion, paano pa ito
Malalaki na.
aakyat?
May pera talaga.
Ang laki na nito. And yet, we hit our 2 milestones during COVID. 2020, we hit 1 trillion. 2021, last year, we hit 1.2 trillion. So,
Congratulations.
di ba? So, yeah, I say,
Laki siguro ng bonus mo.
hindi naman. Sana.
Parinig.
So I agree. There's wealth in the Philippines. It's not uniform, constant wealth across all markets. Hindi. Mas tinamaan yung mass market because of inflation. And we saw that in the numbers of pure gold against SNR.
Tama.
Pure gold wallet size shrunk by 6 to 8%. SNR wallet size increased by 8 to 10%. Oh, because yung mga
Despite
titas of Manila hindi makabiyahe, wala nang imported sa pantry.
Sa SNR na
Kailangan
lang tayo
mag-restock.
pumunta.
So nag-restock. And lumaki. No? Parang yung gigil na hindi ako nakabili ng imported item.
Ang lalaki pa naman ng cart, diba? Tatlong cart, gano'n.
So, your statement na, may pera pala sa Philippines. Sa Pilipinas, meron. Talagang meron.
So, next year, property. So, si property, ano nga ba?
So, sa property, malls.
Stock picks mo?
Buy the malls.
SM.
SM Prime. Diba?
Yes, syempre.
Saan ka ba titingin? No, because intuitively, that's what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Diba? Yung sinasabi mo nga, pogos, palabas, hybrid sa workplace. You don't need more space.
You still recommend REITs?
No. REITs was one of the worst asset classes in 2022, down like 35%.
Unlike in 2020.
In 21 naman, they were up 35-40%. Diba? So, na-erase. Why? Because we got into REITs because of the high dividend yield. Diba? At 4 to 5%. But your government securities nga now are doing 6 to 7.5%. So, sell your REITs, di ba?
That's why nga kasi in 2021, the bond rates were still down.
Yes.
That's why you went to REITs
Yes.
for the dividends.
Diba? High dividend. So, now, there's higher dividend, which are the government
And you don't
securities.
see that changing in 2020.
No, because one of the reasons why tataas yung presyo is infusion of more assets.
Mm-mm.
Diba?
Mm-mm.
When you look at A-REIT going up or M-REIT or RCR, it was because of the infusion of more assets. How can you infuse more assets when the cost of purchasing the asset
Tama.
is high?
Oo.
So they will not infuse it.
Hindi nga.
Hindi. Diba? So, interest rates have to go down for the parent to infuse asset.
Mm-mm.
Diba? And that's not happening in the first half of 23. As I told you, no? Interest rates will continue to move up. So, no. Hold ka na lang sa REIT.
Hold na lang.
Okay? So
Kung
you
wala
have
pa, di wag kang
so you have 4 to 5%. Okay, okay na rin.
Pwede na rin.
Pwede na rin.
Parang time deposit.
Yeah, di ba? Parang ganun. Parang
Oo.
TD rate.
Yeah, okay.
But it's better than realizing your minus 40% or minus 35%. Huwag mo na i-realize. Hawakan mo.
Any other compelling stock pick or investment for 2023 na dapat i-consider ng ating mga kababayan?
Okay.
Kababayan?
Okay, so one of the main beneficiaries of the weak peso story was our